After the 2016 elections, the general elections, I told the party, the mandate for the Central Committee is finished. We should move and have elections for the Central Committee. They didn't listen. Do you know what they called me at that time? A rebel. I was a rebel, trying to tell them to stick to the Constitution. I was a rebel. Today, they're nominating and appointing people into the Central Committee. The people who are supposed to be expelling me, who have no mandate. If we're going to count, if the president is allowed to appoint 3 members of the Central Committee, let's allow him the Secretary General. 1, the Deputy Secretary General. 2, 3, name another person. The rest of them, where are they? Where are they from? How have they come in?
So
there has been no General Conference Act.
So in as far as you're concerned, that expulsion is null and void?
I was saying to the Patriotic Front, and I'm still saying now, let's follow the law. This is a party in power. We must live by example. We must not do things willy-nilly. No, we are a party in power and we must follow. We must follow our own constitution first of all, and then follow the Republican Constitution. If we're not following our Republican Constitution and our party constitution, are we fit to govern?
Now, we have others like, Mr. Chimba Kambwili, who was expelled. He decided to go and just form his party. We have Kalaba, who thought there was too much corruption in the party and decided to disengage with the PF. Why don't you take the same road? Why are you still sticking to them if you feel, they can't
Sticking with who?
With the PF. You can form your own party.
It's my party.
You can form your own.
No, Zach.
What's a party?
That's not.
A party is a club, isn't it?
Gentlemen do not run away from problems. They stick and fight. But going to court is going to be more embarrassing for the party. Have you seen me go to court? No. I've been giving them time to think. Have you ever seen an ordinary member of the party being served an expulsion letter by the Deputy Secretary General of the party? She calls me a non-entity. My own sister from our little town of Muflira. She calls me a non-entity, but she dares to come to my office to serve me a letter. Deputy Secretary General, serving an ordinary member. She knows who I am in this party. She knows what I'm capable of doing, Zax. So she mustn't play. She knows exactly what I can do. I don't want a fight. I want us to think and resolve this matter properly.
But they seem adamant, like nothing is going to happen.
Adamant
so
to
what's
who?
your game plan then?
No. No general, Zax, no general will ever discuss his battle plans, his strategies in the public. Nobody. My plans, my strategies will remain very close to my chest. So on that one, you forgive me. I cannot discuss such things here. But I'm giving them time to think. I'm giving them time to reason.
They don't seem fazed at all.
Well, I am not even fazed myself. Am I fazed? First of all, does the PF pay me? I've been putting money into this party. I've been putting energy and time into this party. Do they pay me? They don't. What have I gained from the PF? Not one government contract. Not one piece of corruption. Not one appointment that I can say is worth naming. None. So as far as I'm concerned, I've been building something for them. But they don't seem to understand that this party has got a foundation. If they've lost the plot, we know where the plot is. So if they've failed to lead, Bafumeko.
How much do you love this party? Would you like to see it just
I love this party.
Break and
if they want us to destroy the PF, we'll destroy it. But not because I want to, but because they're not allowing us to reason. Some of us love thinking, but I know for some people thinking is painful.
So are you ready to fight to the last drop of your blood?
I wouldn't say to the last drop of my blood. I'm only prepared to give my blood to my Lord Jesus Christ, not for a human being. I'm not that kind of person, no. But it's very clear that under Article 51, only 30 members of the Central Committee must exist. 25 must be elected at the General Conference. They've never been in elections since 2011.
So who's to blame? 2011, there was the founder father. How come
2016, Zach, I have said, I told them we need to do this. I was vice chairman elections. I told them we need to go for elections for the Central Committee. Remember, in 2014, we went only to elect one person, a candidate for the presidential race for the 2015 elections, by-election. That was the president. After that, we didn't need to elect the president. That's why in 2016, President Edgar Lungu continued, because we already had a candidate.
So that's why you didn't bother?
That's why we didn't bother in 2016 for the presidency. But I told them, the members of Central Committee's mandate has run out. They should go and have their mandate renewed. Now, the Constitution provides for an extraordinary General Conference. They could have called it. They didn't want. They thought I was being mischievous. Oh, what a tangled web we weave.
Now, you've maintained, however, that you are the game changer. Does this mean you will contest the presidency as PF at the PF convention?
Is there going to be a PF convention? Zach, when you read the Constitution I'm referring to, before you get the General Conference and then the actual convention itself, all the provinces must have elections. Must have elections. So far, only 4 provinces have held elections. 6 have not.
Is it because of the COVID-19
No. It's because of the maladministration. If they had listened to me in 2016, would have started that time. COVID just came 3 months, 4 months ago. They can't blame it on COVID. No, it's maladministration. Being put in positions and you don't know what to do. That's the problem. You can't have people running a party when they don't know what to do. When was the last time this party constitution was read by those people who are supposed to be administering this party? To understand what the founding father intended, what we intended in drafting this kind of constitution. We knew that we needed delegates to go to the General Conference and the actual convention. You must only do that after the delegates are elected. Now, Northwestern Province had elections, Copperbelt had elections, Eastern Province had elections. I forget the other one. But the others have not had elections. 6, which is the majority, have not had elections. Where are the delegates going to come from? You do something wrong again, you want to rape the Constitution again? We keep raping the Constitution. Why have a Constitution if you can't obey it? Why? I keep asking. The law is there so that we have perimeters. The law is there so that we know how to behave towards each other. This is about the constitution of the party.
But what about what we've heard in the past, that according to the PF leadership, you're not even eligible to even attend the convention because you're not in the party structures?
I don't need to be a delegate to stand as president of the PF.
So what does the Constitution say?
Article 52, very good question, Zach. Article 52 reads, for the election of the president to office of president, a candidate shall indicate to the Secretary General of the party his intention to stand for the office of president of the party not less than a day before the General Conference. A candidate, not a delegate.
A candidate.
A candidate. Anyone in the party can stand. Anyone can be a candidate. Anyone. It doesn't say from the delegates. It doesn't say that. The problem is you have people who are not lawyers.
So even within 24 hours, if you decide if you want to stand, you can
just go and tell the Secretary General I'm standing. And if you have amassed enough support within the delegates, you stand. That's what this says. And the reason we put this up is we knew there will be people like the current administration who would want to confuse things. We're trying to avoid that. And Wasata knew that.
So what are you going to do to make sure that they follow the Constitution to the latter?
You're going back to my strategy, Jack. You're going
so you
back
don't want to talk about
it? No general discusses strategies on air. Not in the public. No. We have a strategy. We have a strategy. Huh? Let them live. Let them enjoy. They think they've got things under control. They think. My name's a KBF.
They should only underestimate you at their own peril.
Oh, Zach. Now you are hitting the nail on the head. How beautiful. I am saying that as far as I'm concerned, I am a candidate. I don't need to be a delegate to be a candidate. That's the law. I'm reading from the Constitution. It's right here. Article 52, subclause 2. A candidate shall indicate. All I have to do is tell the Secretary General, this is what I want to do.
But so a lot of people now are wondering then why so much acrimony towards you and your intentions to challenge the incumbent at the convention? Is this a sign of diminishing intra-party democracy within the PF, or what? Where exactly are we going?
Acrimony is a good word. The reason why there's acrimony towards me is simple. One, I stand by the party constitution. Number two, I stand by the truth. 3, I cannot be easily corrupted. I'm principled. So for me, I don't want anybody to rape this constitution, which we fought so hard to put into place.
But as things stand, it's already being raped, isn't it?
Well, let them rape the constitution only to their peril. Because right now, they can't stand on an anthill and start condemning other political parties for not following their constitution, for not holding conventions. They have no moral right because they're doing the same.
Now, so I'm sure a lot of people are asking, so what next in case you're not elected as PF president at the convention? Do we still see you on the ballot papers?
I am here as a presidential candidate. I am running for president. I don't need permission
by any means necessary.
I don't need permission from anybody to stand. It is my democratic right. I am going to exercise it, and I shall fight to exercise it. Nobody has the right to stop me to stand in this country.
But is it?
I have made president, Zach.
So what can stop me from making my vehicle you can use to stand as president?
My point, Zach. You're going into strategy again. You see what I'm trying to say? You're going into strategy. I have said, if they want us to destroy the Patriotic Front, let us destroy it. But for me, I respect the odd man so much. The man who founded this
party. For the sake of the odd man,
I am still here. I am still here because of the odd man. Not for anyone else. I'm still here. I don't want the old man turning in his grave and say, did I put anything in this young man? No, we worked together with that man. And I want him to know that he has left soldiers out here who are going to stand, protect and defend the Constitution as by PF established. It shall not be raped by any Tom, Dick and Harry, I don't care who. That's not the way it works. No. We shall fight.
So in as far as you're concerned, you're going to fight up until, the Constitution is followed.
It's like going to court. Do you only go to court today? This party constitution doesn't tell me when I can go to court, Zach. No. I'm giving them time to think. Mumbi Piri, my sister from Muflira, said, no, let him just apply. Hey, we can reinstate him. If I reapply, I'll be agreeing to the decision that they took. And I'm saying they had no jurisdiction in the first place to take this decision. Let me just go back to this because I want people to understand, Zach.
The people want to know where you're
exactly.
Coming from. Yeah. What are you fighting for?
The quorum, Zach. The quorum at any meeting of the Central Committee is half. Half.
To form a quorum.
To form a quorum.
Mm-hmm. Half of 30? Is that
half
50?
Of 30. So far, I have told you, the president, he's there. The vice president is there. The secretary general, appointed, I must add, by the president. The deputy secretary general, appointed. Let's throw in Uncle ABC, 3 appointed members of Central Committee. The president is done. He has appointed 3. What about the others?
The 27.
Where are they coming from? Because we have not heard the general conference. Now, are these people half of the quorum? Of course not. We cannot allow a dictatorship to start creeping into the PF. I will not allow it. Let's follow the law. The letter of the law. The law says half. There was no half. There was no quorum. They have no jurisdiction. They have no power to even entertain this application.
So they are
First of
serving
all,
illegally.
and the other thing is, the person who took the matter there, the Lusaka province ex-official member of Central Committee, Paul Monga, an appointee. What jurisdiction did he have? What was the case? The case is, I had expressed an intention to stand. Is that an offense? Are we going to criminalize ambition, Zach? Which country are we living in? Are we in the dark ages? Oh, give me a break. No. No. Ambition is not a crime, Zach. You, since childhood, have been ambitious to be somebody. I am ambitious now of becoming a president. What is wrong with that? Some people never even had ambitions.
But here, I mean, in this country, a lot of people are criticized for being too ambitious. No, he's too ambitious.
Too ambitious. Let me tell you.
In each and every party, it's like that.
Let me call.
It's the norm in this
Let
country.
me even go further so that people may understand. Article 57 gives the qualifications of how you become a member of Central Committee. Article 57 of the PF Constitution.
What does it say?
I'll say it. I'll read it.
Mm-hmm.
Those that should be elected will be elected at the general. But this is the qualification. Candidate to be elected to be a member of Central Committee must belong to the Patriotic Front and must be a member of the party 5 years preceding his election or nomination. I can name names here, which I don't want, of people who are in that Central Committee who did not belong and do not belong to the PF for more than 5 years. How are we flouting this constitution? Are we blind? How are we allowing this? A person who has not been in the Patriotic Front party for more than 5 years is a member of Central Committee. How is that happening? How? You tell me, Zach. Once the law is laid down, it is laid down. If they say for you to be a judge, you must have practiced law for at least 10 years. How can you be a judge 1 year at the bar? Are we joking? Let's stop playing games. This is the constitution of the party. Let's respect it. The people who have been appointed and nominated, some of them have not been in this party for more than 5 years. They want to come and expel me.
But do we respect the Constitution?
Who was there campaigning for the original president of this party?
Do we completely respect the Constitution at any given level?
It's a very good question, Zach.
Do we?
But I don't want to answer it for them. I am saying I am going to respect the Constitution. I am not only in this party as an ordinary member. I am a lawyer by profession. I have sworn to protect and defend the constitution of this country, as well as this constitution of the party, as by law established. And Article 60 of the current constitution today, as we speak, tells me that the constitution of any political party must be in tandem with the constitution of the republic. So if they conflict, the constitution of the republic must prevail. So here, I am insisting.
So is the
let us follow
constitution in tandem with the national?
When we set it up, yes, we did.
Once upon a time.
And it is still supposed to be, but it's the administration which is rotting at the core. The administration is wrong. That's the problem we have.
Now, you've been very critical about the current leadership, both in the PF and, of course, at national level. What has this government done wrong in governing this country? Where have we gone wrong? Because I heard you criticize them often. So where have they gone wrong?
Zax, let's be serious. I want you to be very serious when you ask that question.
I'm extremely serious.
I hope
love
you
this
are.
Country with every fiber of my
hope
being.
you are serious when you ask me that question.
I'm extremely serious.
Listen and listen good. It does not need KBF to tell you what is wrong with this country, Zax. Every woman on the street knows what is wrong with this country. Every youth on the street knows what is currently wrong with this country. Every teenage boy selling tomatoes and biscuits knows what is wrong with this country. Every taxi driver on the street knows what is wrong with this country. Every civil servant knows what is wrong with this current country right now. Everybody knows. Unless you're telling me you're the only Jew who doesn't know. Let's be serious, Zach.
Perhaps
No. You asked me a question, let me enjoy answering.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Feel free.
As far as I'm concerned, everybody knows what's wrong with this country. We all know. Let's stop pretending. The truth of the matter is we all know what is wrong with this country. One word. Leadership. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong, Zach. The foundational problem here is lack of leadership. That's it.
So the leadership has failed.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. You know it, I know it. Let's not pretend. We know. That's the problem. Now, if we know that, let's fix it. And that is why I am running for president, is to fix that one. Once we fix that one and put in systems that are going to respect the constitution of the party, respect the national constitution, then we've begun a system that is going to be well and founded. That is all. That's what's wrong. So if you hear me speak passionately about what is wrong, you hear me speak about how to correct things, that is my beginning point.
So, I mean, when we look at the PF, I mean, you being part of them when they started, what had you envisioned for this country? Are we where we're supposed to be?
No, we're not. What we had envisaged was, first of all, as a cornerstone, bringing back the rule of law. Remember, we were coming from a background of condemning the movement for multi-party democracy, having been corrupt. We have dived into that, hook, line, and sinker. It's every other minister, every other director, every other PS, every other somebody being arrested, taken over to the Anti-Corruption Commission. What has gone wrong? I have just told you.
Did corruption just start now or just been existing in this country for quite a while?
No, but I'm talking about my party. I don't want to talk about other people. I'm talking about the party. The foundation of this party was we intended to come and get rid of corruption. We intended to come and establish the rule of law. We intended to govern by the rule of law. If you remember, the late President Michael Sata said he was going to govern using the 10 Commandments. That's the law. It's a moral law, but it's the law. There is no law in this world that does not emanate from the 10 Commandments. Do not covet. Stealing. Do not kill. It's murder. It's manslaughter. It's infanticide. Every law comes from there. We just break it down. It's a moral issue, but it's made legal by man.
So that's what the late president meant when he said you govern by the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, exactly, because he knew. He knew what he had been through. We understood what he was fighting for. When we were in the legal committee, if you allow me to name names here, of the old man then, we had State Counsel John Mulwila, we had State Counsel Bonaventure Mutale, we had State Counsel Obi Muganga, we had myself, and the Central Committee member who was acting as a liaison was Anton Kasol. Bamudala never did anything without consulting that legal unit. He understood why he needed Abakalamba to be there, people who are seasoned lawyers, to guide him. If you remember, one of the big mistakes that he made in announcing his first cabinet, he nominated 10 people. I was one of the first people to call him. I told him, no, boss, Mwarufianya, you're only allowed 8. Oh, Bushenindufianya. Yes. Quickly, he dropped the late William Sanda and he dropped Wasame Mukupa, following the rule of law. He was not embarrassed. He was advised. He stuck to the constitutional provisions. He was not embarrassed to make a mistake but correct himself. Are we doing that today? Are we doing it, Zach? If we go against the constitution of the country, we go against the constitution of the party, I will fight. That's why I'm here.
Now, you talked about, corruption. When you look at the fight against corruption, can any regime just get rid of corruption entirely, or is it embedded in the culture of the Zambian? Because at every corner, wherever you go, people have become very corrupt.
Unfortunately, we're not running a chiefdom. The president is not a paramount chief. He's a political figure. So yes, we can get rid of corruption if we have the right set of thinking, the right mindset we can get rid of corruption.
It seems every regime just
But
gives
if you
lip
go
service
in, if you
to
go
corruption.
in and you start thinking you're a paramount chief, and therefore people must pay homage to you by giving you goats and chickens, then corruption begins. There's a problem. We can't. A president is not a chief. He is an elected official. Chiefdom is by blood. There's a difference. We must distinguish that. You can never remove a chief. Only the traditional rulers can remove a chief. But the president can be removed by not being elected. So if a president fails to adhere to the constitution, yes, he can be removed. If a president fails to live by the mandate of his manifesto or the party manifesto, yes, he can be removed. That is why the president must always read the party manifesto in tandem with the party constitution and say, what did we intend? How are we going to move this agenda and make sure that we're traveling at the same level? You don't go there with your personal agendas as president. No, you don't. You go in with your personal agendas, you've missed the point.
This is the hot seat, and of course, we talking to 2021 presidential hopeful Kelvin Fubebwalia, popularly known as KBF. And of course, later on, we open the line so that you can find out whatever you want to find out from this gentleman on our program this morning. Now, when we look at the economy front, a lot of people will say there's COVID-19 and it has impacted almost the entire universe negatively. So how is then this regime to blame for what's obtaining when it comes to the economy?
COVID-19 is 4 months old. Are the problems we're facing 4 months old? No. I have said there has been a systematic maladministration, and hence people have failed to understand. Some of us have taken time, and on the economic front, Zach, I want you to look at this book. I'm not bragging, but I'm saying I have taken time to
That's the second one. I read the
yes,
first one. Now
this
the
is
second
Zambia
one.
Must Prosper number 2. I have taken time out to study the problems this country is faced up with. I have taken out time to engage some of the best brains this country has ever produced. I have done research. With my research team, we have delved into the agriculture sector, into the transport sector. We have delved into the production cities that we intend to build, the mining sector. We have delved into every area that you think can make this nation prosper. When you ask me questions on the economic front, this program is not long enough.
Long enough to do
No,
that.
because this is something I'm very passionate about. And I know the cry of especially our youths on the streets. 4 million jobs right now are needed to help the youths gain some sort of semblance of normality. I heard, for instance, the government has given $6 million for aquaculture, and they've given 30 million kwacha for artists and other things. Let's break it down, Zax. $6 million, today's rate, is approximately 120 million kwacha. Add the 30 million kwacha that the artists have been given, you're talking of 150 million kwacha. If I was to say anybody to start a reasonable business as a youth is about 30,000 kwacha, only 5,000 youths will get that money. We need 4 million youths off the streets to give them jobs. So does that make sense to
So
you?
that's a drop in the ocean.
You don't need reactive, knee-jerk kind of reactions. No. You need to think, plan, systematically. Not because Papa Chongo, no.
So you think the government is being reactive?
The government is being reactive. They're not being proactive. They haven't sat down to think. That's the problem. That's why everything is overwhelming them. Some of us have taken time to think. We've planned. This book...
What about critics who would say it's easier said than done?
Oh, yes, that is what they've said, but have they done any research? I want them to put the book here. I can challenge them. There are facts and figures in this book. Facts and figures. Figures don't lie. Facts and figures. Figures don't lie. Look at the figures. Challenge me based on the evidence. Empirical data is here. So it's not a question of just waking up and dreaming, I'm going to give youth 30 million kwacha. No. What are you doing? What is it for? Okay, let's use Let's say the criteria is that the artists are going to be given 30 million kwacha. Which artists? Those that dance at State House? What's the criteria? Those that sing gospel music? Which artists? Those that sing Dununa Rivers? Which artists? How are you going to arrive at who is going to be given this money? What are you trying to promote?
So I'm sure therein lies the problem, where you don't even know who you're going to give the money to.
My point, first of all. Second of all, do the artists have a studio where they can rush to? A government or parastatal studio where they can say, I can go and record my music for free there. Or I can go and build something there. No, they have to hire studio time. If there are mistakes, they have to go back. That 30,000 kwacha per youth, it's a drop in the ocean. We're not being proactive. We're being reactive because there's a problem. No, but no, it's like umwana alila sweet zaks. Mampela ka sugar mkanwatino talalako. That's not the way you solve economic problems. It's not. And Basata knew that. That is why that man, we miss him, some of us, because he used to listen. Even with his very humble education, Basata used to listen. He could argue with you, but he could listen. The problem we have right now is there's a bit of arrogance in some of the ministers today. There's a bit of arrogance at the secretariat of the party. People think they know it all. No. Ask, and you shall be educated.
Have you ever tried to advise the current regime?
Many times, Zax. Even here, this book has reached His Excellency the President. I sent a copy to him. I sent a copy to his economic advisor. I sent a copy to his political advisor then, Kaiser Zulu. Have they read it? Ask them. It's a good question, you ask them. I am not worried about who implements what's in here. No, come on. Give it out. It's out there. Employ it. Use it. If you don't want to use it, don't say I have no ideas. No, I've given you my ideas. I have never seen anybody castigate me, criticize me on what I've put in this book. Nobody. Not even the opposition. Not just PF, not even the opposition. Some people are saying, I've seen adverts. No, someone will fix it, someone will fix it. Fix what? I have said how I'm going to fix it. The person you're saying will fix it, has he told you how he's going to fix it? When you're dealing with economic issues, Zax, we should be serious. It is not just a question of saying, I'll fix it. Fix what? Have you done the research? I have. Have you identified the problem properly?
But, I mean, politicians, they come up with things that people can buy into. You know, simplicity, you know, simple things, I'll do this, I'll do that. And Zambians buy into
that. Is why
that's why we're here.
With the greatest of respect, we cannot oversimplify a big problem such as the economic problem we're faced up with. 4 million jobs for the youths is not a simple matter. And I'm dead serious about creating those jobs. I know how, and we have friends, we have started pushing that agenda already. This is a blueprint for the rapid economic transformation of this country. To transform, first of all, it attacks your ignorance. It damages your ignorance, puts ideas into you. You get excited. Anyone who has read this book, Zach, is not the same. Anyone. I challenge you to read it. You will not be the same. I know you've read number 1. Read number 2. Is Bruce Lee reloaded? Enter the dragon.
Because somebody would say, you're part of a regime that came into power by telling us we're going to be paying lower taxes, more money in our pockets.
Thank you.
That is just a dream.
No.
They sold us a dream. Here we are.
No, Zach.
With so much to complain and we're hating.
And I feel your pain, Zach. I feel the pain of the woman who trusted Basata. I feel the pain of the youths who went out and voted for Basata, let alone this current government. Why? Because we sold them what we knew. But here's a problem. Some of us who sat in the boardroom, my particular boardroom at my office, to plan for this country, what we intended to do, are not in this government. You go and bring people from outside who are not there in the planning phase. You expect them to understand what we planned. What do they know? They've come with their corrupt minds. They've come with their corrupt ideas. So what do they bring? They bring corruption. Honestly, you kick out MMD, you bring them back. The roundabout manner. How do you expect to get rid of corruption? Why? Why did we bring them back? Are we short of leadership? No. It's for the convenience of somebody. Now that is not me. I am saying the dream that we had, the vision that we had, can still be relived. In fact, in this book, I am saying is lower taxes reloaded. More money in your pockets reloaded. Because what I've put in this book, Zambia Must Prosper Too, is achievable and it can be done. This is a social science. Politics is a social science. I'm a social scientist myself. It's empirical data gathered here.
Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, are we at the threshold of being sold another dream by people telling us they'll do this and that, and well, knowing that they won't even live to what they're saying, just because they want to occupy office and they tell us what we want to hear?
No, Zach.
They thrive on that.
I am a believer. I'm a Christian, and I believe in one scripture, Habakkuk 2 verse 2. Write the vision down, make it clear. My vision is right here. It is clear. You can hold me accountable to Zambia Must Prosper Too. From a spiritual perspective, a moral perspective, a political perspective, and an economic perspective. That is my vision. It's right here. I have seen no other politician who has put his vision down and claimed he can do it, except for Basata when we did it with him. No other politician.
This is a hot seat. Now let's talk about the issue of Bill 10, which was supposed to be debated in Parliament last month, was postponed to allow parliamentarians to adapt to the new environment at Parliament. What is your view on the bill which some stakeholders want withdrawn?
Bill 10.
Yes, the issue of Bill 10.
In a nutshell, Zach, Bill 10, with the greatest respect to the people that want it, is a waste of time, a waste of resources, a waste of focus, a waste of energy. Right now, we have more serious, pertinent problems to attend to than Bill 10. Bill 10 has got hidden agendas. And the agendas, I'll say this, are not noble, and they are not good for the Zambian people. In the current form, no. It should not even visit Parliament anymore. Let it die.
I mean, when you say hidden agendas, what agendas would you say are hidden there?
Anyone who has read Bill 10 will understand. But recently, my young brother, Brian Munduvile, chairperson, legal, in the PF, said that they must get rid of Article 52 because it will block Balungu from standing. Now, if that's not an innuendo telling you something, then you must be blind. Why do they want Article 52 removed? I'm giving you an example. Why do they want that particular article removed? Because it's very clear what it's bound to do. And it's in tandem with the PF Constitution, if you allow me to read. When you read on the qualifications of a president, for example, and members of Central Committee, one of the qualifications of the president of the PF, once elected, is that he must qualify to stand in the Republican Constitution clauses. He must qualify. You must be a Zambian, you must be above 35, elected at a conference or convention, but you must also qualify in the Republican Constitution. Now, the Republican Constitution, as you know, is flying in the teeth of a certain candidate. So they want Article 52 removed so that you're only able to challenge after his election.
So that's the only thing?
No, there are lots of things. I've given you an example. Bill 10 is another subject, Zach. You need 2 hours to invite me here to discuss Bill 10. But I've given you the core of an innuendo which they want to bring hidden. We can't allow that. I will not be part of an illegality.
So when we look at the current situation, it's in its current form, do you think it has lacunas? Do they need to be addressed before the next general elections? Or we can go with it just the way it is and there won't be any,
On the 5th of January 2016, my president, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, proudly rode into the Hero Stadium and signed this current constitution, amended constitution. 5th of January 2016, hardly 4 years, 5 years, we want amendments. For what? This constitution is good enough. Let's go with it. If we need to change the constitution, Let it be another time.
The issue of the 14 days, it's
a waste of time.
It's neither here nor there.
It's a smoke screen, Zach. It's a smoke screen. It's for small minds. Huh? We don't need this right now. The resources being spent on Bill 10 can be spent creating jobs for the youth. The resources being used, we are hearing now, to corrupt opposition leaders. Come on, let's be serious.
So what confusion can Bill 10 then bring in the country if we went ahead with it?
The confusion? Really? Are you asking?
I'm asking.
Give me another program, sir. Give me another program. But I've given you one. There can be anarchy in this country if we're not careful. Because people who think they will not be allowed to do certain things, they will be going on the streets. It's not allowed. Let's just be normal and reasonable people. We have a constitution, a functioning constitution. There's nothing urgent about amending the current constitution. Why are we in the rush? What's the point? What's the rush? We're dealing with the law. It's not. Let me tell you something which maybe Zambians may not understand. The 1964 Zambian constitution, we never elected a president. It may come as a surprise to some people, but this is constitutional law 120 at law school. We never elected Kenneth David Kaunda to be the president. Kenneth David Kaunda was imposed on us because he came as a president named in the constitution by the Brits. We had a lot of people looking around to tell us what their interest was at the Lancashire discussions historically. We had the nationalists who just wanted power for the sake of power. The colonialists, the National Party at the time, wanted two things in that constitution. One, a referendum clause. Number two, property rights to be embedded in the constitution. And obviously civil rights, which is Bill part 3 of the constitution. They insisted on that. Then you had the Barotse, the Lewanika kingdom, who said no, the king in the Barotse area must control the waters, the timber, the fishes, and some of the minerals up to Nkana in Kitwe. They thought because he stood on an anthill and said Fale, it meant that far. And the Muzungus thought his kingdom reigned up to that point. So these interest groups were taken care of and were given this constitution. What happened in 1969? KK came up with a referendum to end all referendums, except not to touch the Bill of Rights. That's the problem. This is history, read it. Now we have allowed every president who walks in there to amend any part of this constitution. No, we should go back to the 1964 constitution. You don't touch the constitution. It's such a sacred document that you don't just amend it. If you want to amend any portion,
but why
must go for a referendum.
Why have we allowed them piecemeal changes here and then suiting a person who's ruling, as it happened in 1996?
No. Go back to 1971, when the one-party participatory democracy was introduced by KK. It started then, when he killed the referendum. Because any change in the constitution needed a referendum. KK came and said, no, I'm abolishing all political parties. There shall only be one political party. Therein lied the problem.
So
now,
presidents have been allowed
since
to break
then,
the constitution.
every president who comes in sees the advantage and he thinks he can touch the constitution, massage it to suit himself. We should go back to that pre-independence stature and say, for any amendment in the constitution, we must hold a referendum. Not just Bill 10, no something commission, no. It is too important a document to be left to the fancies and whims of individuals called members of parliament or NDC, NFC, not NDC, but some confusion, NCC, something. No,
but parliamentarians, it's not their right.
To do what? To do what?
I mean, to make laws.
To make laws, not to amend the constitution at will and will. No. Any act of parliament, they're allowed. No one is going to stop that. But the constitution, Zach, I'm talking about the constitution. To touch the constitution, the ground norm that gives the foundation of every other law. You just don't just amend it. No, you don't. You must be serious. Half those people in parliament there, some of them don't even know what they read. I'm sorry to insult some of them, but I know it's a fact. I know the history of some of these people we call ministers today. I know where they came from. You remember before 2016, the old man was saying, my MPs are useless. Some of them are back there. The same useless people. Let's be serious. These are politics. We need a certain level of understanding. It's not just being a minister does not make you a leader. I'm sorry, my brother. Status is not leadership.
It's just a...
It's just a status symbol.
That's all.
No, doesn't make you a leader.
It's just a position.
It's just a position. That doesn't make you a leader. No, I'm not moved because someone holds a position. I am moved by the quality of discourse that I'm going to have with somebody. The quality of interaction I'm going to have with somebody. The kind of interaction and discussion I'm going to have with somebody. The mindset is what I'm interested in. Some of these people, they've come here, they've told you, I'm #1 bootlicker. You want to hear that from a minister? Let's be real. Is that the quality we're talking about?
At least they're honest that the bootlickers.
That's my point. But if you're a bootlicker, keep it in your mind. We don't want to hear it. Pretend you can think. Pretend. You know, there's a saying that when a fool keeps quiet, even the wise men think he's wise. But when you speak, hallelujah, at least you've told us who you are.
Now, recently, the president was booed somewhere in Mons, the southern province. Would you say, is that a sign of dissatisfaction among Zambians over his leadership? Or, I mean, is there anything wrong for people to react in such a manner?
The president was booed. Yes and no. Again, history will guide here, Zach. Look, I was at university when we pelted, booed, and scorned Kaunda with eggs, banana peels, and whatever. He was coming to watch a football match. He still watched the football match.
And he paid his
magnanimously. He sat and watched the whole game, shook the hands of each player, and kicked the ball to start the game.
Like nothing had
happened.
happened.
Nothing had happened. That is leadership. Booing a president is an expression of your will. You're trying to show that you are an individual, a person who's not happy about something. Booing by itself is not an insult, but it is trying to convey a message to somebody that I'm not happy about something. Now, I remember I saw a clip of Honorable Jack Mwimbu, and I think was it Honorable Garin Kombo. They were complaining about certain acts that were done in their so-called stronghold before the presidential visit. The pulling down of UPND flags, defacing of some of their campaign regalia, etc. And you don't expect when you annoy people like that to go in and they should be clapping for you. No. They were reacting because they were angered by something. That is the way I understood it. And for me, I expected the president to go in there, commission the homes or the houses for the police, and come out and be presidential about it. Laugh about it. All this talk of no, HH cannot go here, HH cannot go in this part of the country, we are overreacting.
And if somebody says no, lines have been drawn.
Which
now,
lines?
So
we are one Zambia, one nation.
They also won't be allowed to to campaign and do something. What kind of leadership is this?
This is ignorance of the West order. Any Zambian is allowed to visit any part of the country. There is an AGM for the Law Association of Zambia going on in Southern Province in Livingstone this weekend. I can go to last.
So the PF, the PF cadres who feel, no, that was disrespect of the highest level. They shouldn't do that to their president. They feel angered, so they want to react. What would you say to them?
My advice both to the Patriotic Front and the UPND cadres is calm down. Take an Ebola punch. This country does not belong to UPND alone. This country does not belong to PF alone. It belongs to every Zambian. And every Zambian has a right to speak his mind, visit, do what he wants, conduct his business without you interfering with his space. Having said that, the two parties must stop being aggressive against each other. They should not promote anarchy. There is no need.
But who's to blame for that? I mean,
You
there's
must
too much
fight.
violence
No.
in this country.
You must fight, but fight with your mind. Fight with your mind.
So it should be a battle of minds.
Battle of minds.
Not
the
the
battle.
physical.
No. I'm not interested in fighting myself. If your ideas are far much better than me, I'll salute you. I'll salute you. And I'll tell you you're better than me. But I am not going to sit and allow people to get physical when there's no need to get physical. Anyone who says anything against President Lungu, you must rise up. President Lungu is protected by the police, the army, the air force. He's protected. He doesn't need
it's not your job.
It's not your job to do it. No. Kanganja is there, the IG.
He's got state security.
He can do what he wants to do. He can go and watch the videos, and if they think this was over the board, they can arrest those individuals. That's it. But to say that those people cannot protest, no.
But who gives the cadres so much power?
It is the politicians. They have not educated their cadres
from both divides.
From both sides. Both sides. Both sides. And that's what I'm saying. They should not promote anarchy in this country. Some of us are civilized human beings. We want to be civil in our conduct. We want to understand that UPND, PF, NDC, PDP, whichever, they can coexist for the sake of this nation. And as long as you've got the best brains running the government, let it be. That's it.
This is the hot seat, and shortly we'll be opening the lines. Now, the presidency has come under criticism again after it emerged that the photos that were used on the Facebook page for the Kafiwa Mazabuka Road were plagiarized. Are the president's handlers doing their job, or where are we going? You know, it's like a circle sometimes. You know?
Zach, that's a very good question, but I cannot speak for the handlers of the president. I'll leave it there because that's their job.
Okay.
And I'm very good at reading social media every so often, and I'm glad. I think the president was magnanimous to admit that there was a wrong post, which is good. He came out openly and just said, look, there was a mistake, and it should end there.
Now let's look at the issue of the health minister, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya, who has continues to serve despite facing corruption charges. With Zimbabwe's president, having sacked his health minister for engaging in corruption, do you think we are doing the right thing when it comes to the fight against corruption in this country?
Yes and no. When you are being political, as the president is trying to be in this country, he should either suspend or drop my young brother, Chitalu Chilufya, on moral grounds, but also on political grounds. It sets the tone of behavior for the ministers. But when you're trying to be legalistic and trying to say the Constitution, most of the decisions that pertain to ministers' appointments are moral. And as president, you have a moral duty to act and set the moral compass of this country in terms of how ministers will be expected to behave. I don't believe that my brother Chishimba Kambwiri was given that opportunity. I don't believe my sister Erin Kabanshi was given that opportunity. So why is Chitotela and Chitalu Chilufya being given that privilege of remaining in office? These are double standards. You must be principled. Do what's good for the goose and make it good for the gander. Be principled and be equal to everybody. Do not show that you are discriminating in your leadership. That's what I see here. There's a problem.
So the president is being selective?
He is. With the greatest respect to my brother, my learned colleague, the president of this country, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, he has been selective on that score. It is wrong. He should be presidential and political. Drop him. If you need him, bring him back. We saw it in the Kaunda days. Kaunda would fire a minister sitting in the front row of a press conference. 9 months later, you hear a press brief again, and the old man will be saying, the young man who took to the bottle, he has reformed. He has reformed. I'm giving him second chance, I'm bringing him back. We've heard this before. If you need Chitalu Chilufya that much, drop him. Let the investigations go. Let the trial go. If it's done, bring him back if you need him. But don't keep him. What message are you sending? First of all, it intimidates
So what does
law
that say
enforcement.
about the fight against corruption?
It intimidates
If you still
law
keep somebody
enforcement.
who's being
I mean, there was a screaming headline the other day, Chitaluchurufia innocent, according to State House. The president didn't say Chitaluchurufia is innocent.
It's
Because
not
the trial,
president's job to
no,
find out
the
if
trial
it's
hasn't even taken place. All the president did was just quote the Constitution. The Constitution says you're innocent until proven guilty. That's all the president was saying. But he doesn't say that Chitaluchurufia is innocent. He has to go through the due process. The trial has to go on. So let's not have these screaming headlines which mislead people. And sometimes you people in the media also, you give these screaming headlines and you want people to get excited and
because every media house has got their own agenda.
correct.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the thing.
And the problem is we don't control your headlines. That's for the sub-editors or editors, whichever they
But sometimes people just want numbers. They want to
exactly.
sell.
Yeah. And some of the media people, we also know, they give you headlines which you want depending on whether or not they've taken Tungwe.
Now, the youth demonstrating in the bush after they were denied a permit to protest over the many challenges they are facing. What do you think is the solution to the challenges young people are facing in our country? I want to mumpanga.
First of all,
in a country called the democracy.
Let me give some advice to my young brother, the Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Kampiongo. There is no need to abuse state machinery. You have the police in full force driving up and down the streets of Lusaka as if there are riots going on. There's no need. When you begin to annoy the youths and they begin to think and feel, they have no option but to go to the bush. You're digging your own grave and the grave of your political party. Don't think in this day and age we are going to be having the rallies that we used to have in the days of Assad with the COVID-19. It won't happen. The youths talk to themselves on social media. That is why they were able to beat you at your own game. You went in town parading motor vehicles, dressed in armored vehicles and dressed in combat, looking so foolish. The youths were dancing somewhere else and there were 300,000 people watching them on Facebook. How foolish can you be? People can talk to each other and they can circumvent the Public Order Act without you even knowing. You can have a meeting, you can have a virtual rally in this day and age. That is why some of these people in the PF leadership are backward. They think it's those days. No. There's people talking to each other without even you meeting, without you even having a face-to-face interaction. You can talk to 1 million people. Let's start changing our system of approach. And if you don't know what to do, ask. Some of us are ready to educate you. I'm not trying to insult my young brother, Honorable Kampiongo here. I'm just trying to give advice. He should change his tactics. His language has become confrontational. His language has become aggressive, even to his fellow members. I've seen clips, for instance, where he's holding meetings, even in Chwangandu, his own constituents. He's threatening people with arrest. Some old man puts up a hand and wants to ask him a question. Oh, not whatever policeman, just because you're Home Affairs Minister? Where does that start and end? Now, can you imagine that person being given more power? Let's be serious. My advice is when you're a minister, read the law. Ask for advice. Get a think tank around yourselves and ask, how can I resolve this matter? How do we do this? You can't be blocking every application that asks for a permit. Peaceful protest is part of a democratic dispensation. If that was not the case, there wouldn't be change of leadership, change of political parties to rule this country. We were allowed by the movement for multi-party democracy. At least I remember Vasata was on radio almost every second week, going across the country to talk to the Zambian people. He was not arrested. No, he was allowed to speak. Demonstrations were on and off. He was allowed to speak. let the youth speak their mind. That's what leadership is. If possible, meet them. What are you scared of? When people begin to get afraid to meet even the youths, it means there's something wrong. Something to the core is wrong. Like I said, leadership is not status. You can be given a ministerial position, but you're still not a leader. You're a boss. There's a difference.
This is a hot seat. Let's allow our callers to be part of this discussion. Feel free to hit us on 0974-870-877. Now, you can wear your headset so that you can be able to hear the callers.
These ones?
Yes, yes.
You're listening to the Hot Seat on Hot FM 87.7. It's time for you to call now and get involved. Call now.
Thank you so much for coming through. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
I've been following the program, it's making a lot of sense, okay? Yeah, and I'm just at the program. Now my question is, now what if PF value from Danny PF? I got from your own party, you see, forming another party, and then I'm a PF supporter as well. But that will say, you made me hate the PF, so politics, as well. I feel like politicians, they're good at talks, but when it comes to communication, oh man, we are so poor. So I think from now on, I'm convinced that now politicians are all the same, and I'm still voting. Good morning, God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. A disgruntled citizen. 0974-870-877. That's the hotline. Call us and be part of this discussion. Please go ahead. Your name, sir? Alex? Hello? You're Alex who? Landenish na Alex. Vamonsa, please go ahead.
Anda ko ya randa PF yako yakumonze. Yawa tebo president walongo. You know, Bible randa that you want to others as you want to them do unto you. Mamona ka? Because malasanga ke PF ga opposition partner kumpika kulia. Ngawa kuma kulia kuine. Rena kulia na jabana ko pipa kama kata ngawa chaka kama na. When nanga kuina nomba, they start talking, no, that's not good. And whatever what is happening, God is watching. You know, the Bible says God is not a man. Well, maybe you can mock him, you know. It should say, yeah, power is sweet. Today can be here, but tomorrow be somewhere else. So at least we should lead by example. Not in Hama Christians, what in my party, so attacking each other is not good. But let us get more of it. That's how it is done. So they have talked on boundaries that are number and via Kushan or network network. You know, that's not Christianity. And then you go for Jane praying, fasting. What are you praying for? When you hate one another. The Bible says that if you claim to love God, and then you hate your brother, whom have you seen? And then you lie, there is no truth in you. And you shall know them by their fruit. If they are Christians, surely, how can we find others to go in something? It's not good. So, that's all enough about it.
Now you can respond to the two callers before we proceed with more.
The first one, thank you, my brother. I want to say something which might sound controversial again here in answer to your question. But the truth is, as it stands today, if you read the party constitution for the PF, Article 52, Subclause 8, Subclause 10, and Subclause 11, you will find this revelation. Today, the PF has no president. Why do I say that? We went in 2014 to elect a president for the party. 2014, because Basta Tawadi to Shamu October. We elected Walungu in December 2014 as party president. The PF constitution says the person elected as party president will hold office for 5 years. On the 20th of January 2015, Walungu was elected for the first time in office. 11th August 2016, he got elected for the second time into office. We did not go for a convention again because the 5 years hadn't lapsed. Now, if you allow me to count, and the articles I've said to you now, 2014 we elected Walungu, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, December. 5 years ya Walungu as party president for PF, yaripwa. So the PF today, according to this constitution, has no party president. What we have is a Republican president, because he was elected in 2016 and his mandate as Republican president comes to an end in 2021. That I have no problem with. That is why when I was announcing my candidature to run for office in April last year, I was announcing because there was a vacancy in the party for the presidential position. People keep asking me, but why are you trying to challenge Walungu? There is no challenge. There's a vacancy. How do you challenge when there's a... You engawaleke like a gelo kaya, fiapwa, guys ambo kafwaya, walambo kweba tiyo nika gelo ko, fiadipwa. Do you understand? Let's be serious. So when I said I want to stand, it's because there was a vacancy. So as far as I'm concerned, I am vying for that position because there's a vacancy. But I want to bring a different brand of leadership to the party.
What about people who feel you're cantankerous?
Those people, I have no answer to them because as far as I'm concerned, most of them are noisemakers. And most of them are those people I was telling you about, members of Central Committee who are nominated, who've never been elected. Their nominations have no foundation because the president can only nominate 3 members of Central Committee. So the other extras he has nominated, don't read the Constitution. Where have they come from? Let's not rape the Constitution. It's a ground norm for the party. We must obey it. So, leadership change is inevitable. What is more important also is this Article 52, Article Subclause 8, 10, and 11 of the party constitution must be read in tandem with Article 106, Subclause 3 of the Republican Constitution, which says once you are elected as a person to stand for the PF presidential candidature, you must also qualify under the Republican Constitution. That is what disqualifies Walungu currently, on both sides. Okay? He cannot stand in the party, because if you elect him in the party, it means he has to qualify in the Republican Constitution, where he doesn't qualify. So he's not eligible. No one is challenging Walungu. Walungu to me is not a factor. Why do you keep talking about him? I don't even understand. That's my comment. Well, Alex Mwansa, do unto others, I totally agree with you. I am only happy that you're not saying do as I say, like Varianji Kwite.
This is the hot seat. Let's continue taking in calls 0974-870-877. You're through to the program. Thank you for coming through. Your name? Why do you sound like you're very far? Can you get close to your phone? Zulu Joseph, please go ahead. Speak up, Joseph. Okay,
Kazeni, ni fuwe, not fuwe, but it's you. Sisi ulimbuya kamba timvele kamba.
Okay. Nati manje nkalekuwa ndi kuti mgwirizani, ngati mgwirizani tatu pati yake ndipo kwa. Kwa mtu angati kwa mpaka hapo kupata problem pati yake. Mkapa mufti. Mnapotikapo tetemu ya wasata. Manje wasata wauke this time wapeze kuti imwe na watarungu na bina mnyamba. Mazambera kwa. So pepolanga mkalemushe makamisa na mbuoti bote vendepu ino. Na 2021 utikawina CPF. So please pepolanga kristanani ngani pansi limaloya zikupunzika. Why think that send my phone makamisa so that both bind up with. Come on,
Zikomo Mbuya, Zikomo.
We taking the calls 0974-870-877. That's the hotline. Feel free to call if you've got any questions or you want to make any contribution. right here on the hot set. 0974-870-877. Thank you so much for coming through. All right, that one cut. 0974-870-877. That's the hotline. You through. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Your name, sir?
Good morning. At the Ishnantiman.
Been well.
Binwell. Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Binwell. Hey, the governor of democracy. Let's go ahead. Let's hear you.
By comments and the causes of pursuing democracy, truly, let me, Mr. KBF, let me begin by saying you are a man on your own. You were started being Arangu and you've been very quiet. That's how leadership should be. You were Arangu, I think by last year, Arangu this year, hasn't made of any comment. It's only of today. Now, my concern, truly I am a PF supporter myself. I voted for PF in 2011 and 2015 and 16, but this time I am reluctant and maybe I can give a vote in 2021, not until you correct the mistakes what you are talking about. Truly, there are a lot of mistakes in PF. And look, once the Papa you comment, then they have a party with somebody PF. Yeah, if I could punch the by 40%. But what they think, but PF not to feel what. So, but KBF will be long, but where are PF? The Kenny to that you will be dead because I refer your queen, they cannot walk out when you're not going to be some won't come to Yama. No. Give him that this is democracy. Democracy, you have to tell them who you want to say, I mean, I said, for one of the one can tell the now, we know that the rest of no, he's going to just give him that chance. Democracy is very, very cardinal. For this Zambia is democracy, and the parties, all parties should be democratic. Whereby opinions, what they want to take to come up, what you want to see, I have a what if I'm going to say, new for me, but my ministers are untouchable. What are I to about Jufia? Well, corruption, you want to win. But to tell you, but I don't want 1.5 2 million what do they get this manifest and forward? But after 156, but President President Churchill has never paid a tumor. But by example, what is that? That's 156. People in where I come from, what's the other more full? To have the commemorations there, but if you want to have a we want that with us still, my brother, I'm blessing you. Carry on, we shall be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So you can respond.
My Mbuya, Joseph Zulu, it is my prayer that somewhere along the line, reason will prevail and we shall see sense in what everyone is saying. Nainewi in Nepal and Mbuya, I want us to work together. Trust me. That is why I've been very slow in trying to rush to court. Because I've been very slow. Not that I don't have the facts, not that I can't fight legally. I've been practicing law for over 34 years. I'm quite experienced. I've got friends who are lawyers, some of them state counsel, who have been prepared. And they've told me, take them on. And I've said, not now. Let's see if we can resolve these matters administratively. Because I understand that ngatwa toba basata bakala umfobu byuko baba no mpashi wabota wake kale because bakala bat kwinaba nabandi na libebere, and he stood on an antiu every so often basata vale tweba ichina mpangila techandi ngamwafilwa lwenu. He said those words. Some of us twalikala popanza kana kashikulu kale funda you hear mukala mbangale landa. So I agree with you that we should work together, and I want to work together. But I will not be arm twisted on principle. Ngafilafi aishire nkashia ndimu mbipiri. Ati alembe fenkalata. Ati achita apologize. What am I apologizing for? Apologizing for what? For having an ambition? You are apologizing na ulufiania. You don't apologize for thinking right. You don't. So I am prepared to listen. And yes, if phone calls are made, and I have said I'm on a very wide consultative process right now. Never PF in Kabachita consult. Nothing will stop me from calling my president, Edgar Lungu, and saying, let's have a chat. If he doesn't want to see me, that's his business. But for me, I'll call him. If he says, come, let's chat, we shall talk. If we agree, we agree. If we fail to agree on principle, we shall disagree. I shall tell the nation not to kana, not to esha, not to. That's the way men behave. But in Enshila, I don't just wake up and you must think before you speak. You have been well as a student of democracy. I salute you. Na temwa sana pantu amashi mwa bomfia na inewe ne abamutima wandi abampashi wandi ndefo a democracy muri chinwe chalo iye pantanshi. We must not fight against ambition. No, we must allow everybody to feel free to pursue their ambitions. And I thank you.
Let's take in a few more calls before we conclude. Thank you so much for coming through. Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for coming through. Your name, sir? Mr. Daka, please go ahead.
Mbuya tilibu ina mulibu anji mweo.
Much of time is a party. Are you going to be allowed to enter the convention?
I see. Thank you.
Those are my questions.
Okay.
All right. Zikomo. 0974870877. That's the hotline. Feel free to call us. You through to the program. Hello, good morning. Morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead. Mwebana nishnam kwai? Vaisdron. London tung for Vaisdron.
Valendo kwa yesterday tunalitambile pa news wale tukoba tubungana abawesha nanga mwarolesha ba PF basangiro mungapa gwadi pa 60 tingo batata bale. Now ubunga bali safika kuma 175 na 195. Now a new matching kusafu ndoko batuwisha ubunga atishitandire tukwacha okuteko kwesha. Insala balestantito insala mzambia irekola umlando wako watumkana ishfa. But many people are patient of lack of knowledge. Then Kalangana sure kumana kan ko baoda bali bwesha. But wali Mzambia tababwesha. What mukunda that mukubwesha. If we as taxi drivers want to retire, economy na igolera punch mlando wa corona. Ishwale tsumashani. So please, for spiritual good spirit, I support you. Please, to learn the go forward to go to Shuya Polanda. Especially taxi drivers, few night dura, or one dura. But worship about Sunday, them to under insurance if you win. What young, what I'm brought. You have to do a yama, but you follow good your wadi. That's why they don't walk on Shiko Malawi, Mandingo. I think Madam Fire covers that you go.
Oluimboshi or Chen Mandingo Oluimboshi?
Mandingo at the Chinyango.
Okay. How to am from Quay? You're just a common man. How to Tottenham Quay? Yeah. That song as if it was sang yesterday.
Joda Kambuya, please listen very carefully. I have said my purported expulsion from the Patriotic Front
You're very selective in your words.
Is now and void ab initio.
Purported.
It's a purported expulsion because abaikele mukabungwe ukuchita discuss expulsion yandi. They are not members of Central Committee according to Lupapulo Lwachipani. Ba president bakwatamaka ukusalama members of Central Committee batatu. Abashala, they must be elected at the General Conference. There has never been a General Conference since 2011, Patriotic Front, to elect members of Central Committee. So which Central Committee expelled me? These people who have been brought in. Nalabweke sharp. Tuila angasha constitution ya party chimona constitution ya chalo tuila angasha kwa tule butai yo tule belengo papulolo. If there was anybody called a legal advisor kuli wa president ngari bebe atifina mulufyanya afafini na chilondorora elo basate bachitire nominate abantu 10 ukufo kubapanga ama minister or deputy minister twali batumine phone kanabesa amaka mwako atani 8 bali wesha baishwa tulupapulo na lukana. Even here, my older brother, the president of the Republic, Edgar Shagalungu, knows how many members of Central Committee he is allowed to nominate. He can't go beyond that. You can't keep nominating. It's going to turn out to be a dictatorship. Because what they want to lay later, they'll only be loyal to you. They have no legality. They have no jurisdiction, therefore, to pass any judgment on any member. So he expulsion, yabu fee. Okay, nadikana. But if we don't agree, move on Deland, and they force me, ukuya kukoti, tualambo kuseba nyechipani. These are things we can discuss in-house. Fuevene, ulupapulolwali land that we can discuss these matters. Not to kweva fyo muntu ati yo lemba kalata uchite apologize. Ulechite apologize kuli chinshi. Nina tukile. Chilu bonchina pangi, defchana na chaku apologize. Ndimu ina Kristu. I can apologize if I'm wrong. But in Akucha, if you apologize because you want to show that now wataka power, nakan. Because there must be principle in what I do. I'm a principled person. That you must take in Mbuya. So, Ichi, we shall be discussing in Mbuya. Mwisakamana, we shall continue talking. Atin. Vaezron, I'm a taxi driver from Livingstone, Lusaka, through to the Copper Belt. I've been talking to a lot of you. I know. Ofomule chula ninji shubo kwebati ichalona chupa muvike pona COVID-19 amalwele aisa abantu tabaleenda sana cha shupa chishinka ubunga tabuli bwino yo emitengo taili bwino. But the answer to this is not a piecemeal solution. The answer is a radical transformation of the economic setup of the nation. We must get down to production. That is why Mulupapulo Rwandi Bukuna Lemba Zambia must prosper too. I have articulated concepts of how we can improve productivity in the agriculture sector, which will improve the living standards of the Zambian people. The food basket must come down. My aim, for instance, is that for anyone to live comfortably in this country, any family of at least 5 people, there must be a take-home pay of at least 10,000 kwacha. If he instansh kwete, but could not londolora mwaumfwa, I'm sure instain be kesa. So ni miumfwa, vaizro ni mwisakamana, na ma taxi driver bambi, ve sakamana, ba minibus driver ba nensu wonse ve sakamana. Fidafine tuale angala na vasta tabale miwa tifika chitika nifi. Eko tuala abwelela. But yaba shirefo kutukonka, tukawasha kunuma. Because right now, we are marching back to more money in people's pockets, less taxes. And Zambia must prosper too is a blueprint that will give every Zambian taxi driver, minibus driver, and every other informal sector worker that hope that the chalo chesukuto aikala win. Inechon de mulaya. Ngamulefu amke say but mwi buku di enu page shine mwana ndiriati. That is why I've put it in writing. So that you can quote me. Nchiletina yo, I can do it.
Okay, I've got some other questions here. This one says, what is his view on the Chinese contractors being given all contracts and Chinese competing with the Zambians when it comes to selling chickens and vegetables? What law will he propose to safeguard our jobs as Zambians? Chinese are given preferential treatment. And also, can you, if invited by HH, run as his running mate?
Let me start with the Chinese. ama Chinese vane mufire mwanshoko bati echo beshira kuno besa mkupanga kalusango. Second of all, kumwa woko bafuma vengi sana ama Chinese. Vengi. So they would try and do anything. But the situation is this. If you put policy in place that is going to safeguard the Zambian business through, one, the immigration laws that you have, two, the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, it will be very easy to curb ama Chinese. First of all, those coming into this country to come and invest, you must have a criteria. It's not every Tom, Dick and Harry who comes into this country or to engage that in investor. Vamo, they are not investors. No. Vasatavale tila, my investors. They have come to invest. There was a reason for that. It sounded political, but we cannot give every job to the Chinese. Not that we want to chase them away, but the Chinese must come here with skill, with investment portfolios that we as Zambians don't have. If yama Zambians wingachitatabafuidi ama Chinese ubikatako. Now, if my industry, for instance, ngamapela ma Chinese umugodi, for instance, washito umugodi. You say by immigration standards, as a policy, 5% of management will come from China. 5%. 10% of middle management should come from China. The rest must be Zambians. That must be in the policy. Nedomule pela immigration permit, ya work permit, investment permit, nangwicha shala permit mwinga, whatever you call it, resident permit. The point is you must not give more than that for a company. So that if I have to go to Zambia, these are the rules, these are the regulations, and I must follow. If they don't want to come, bye-bye, we shall develop this country ourselves. We're not short of manpower. We've got educated youths from the University of Zambia in the mining sector. We've got mining engineers, we've got metallurgists, we've got geologists. We can exploit the Zambian minerals ourselves. In Zambia must prosper too. I have tackled the mining sector. This is very clear. But Nachila was Zaxap. Now my economic arguments, I need another 4 hours just to argue that. So that mumfwe. But I'm trying to touch here and there so that mumfwe. So in a assuming if I'm a Chinese to Ibapela carte blanche. It's not right, it's not correct, and I shall not allow it. Number two, we share kutito awombela chapa mona HH. Aloku wombela chapa moma political setup. Mule monesha na history for chava. Nga mwalumbulo muntu nga HH. HH is my brother. Twaina Ngopa University. Okay? I know the guy. I know how he thinks. But here's a bit of history. One, he had Canisius Banda as his vice president. Canisius Aliquis. Go and ask Canisius. He had GBM as his vice president. GBM Aliquis. Go and ask him. He's now talking to my brother Chimbakambwidi. I don't know what they've agreed. Mwe. To Aliquetepo na ka pact na HH eleva mdala basatavari alive. There was a pact between UPND and PF. And we said to Alachi Tefi, let's move in this direction. HH. On top of him. Now, from now onwards, I have made up my mind. He must prove better than me in thinking, in planning, in strategies, and his approach to the whole nation. Because some of them are they've told me why. Couldn't I post some kind of kankalam? Elon bench. The way the constitution is structured today, Kutibaku Pelawu vice president if you feel. And my ideas now Kwatamuli Zambia must prosper too. I heard you. Vice President Takwatamaka. Kutibaku parking a mukona. Tapai nefyole umfo, nefyole chita. Unless the president delegates for you what to do, you cannot do anything as a vice president. You're there to deputize. So, inchto ilefwa iko hapa kubombela chapamo lelo bamova monga mulesera tukubombela chapamo ngatwa kumana chifuire bonse to tuwike ama egos yensu aside bonse. Let us choose between and among ourselves pano uinga tungulula if we ngatrefo kuya forward. Not you only president come and join me. Nkaye ponena mchilongo nakana sana hicho chenu. tetifumbe because I know from the history ero twaigere na basata HH baisa kusana basata baitwe bele for percent ngamwalilo shapama social media ko alibaka picture kaba mdala ba Guy Scott na basata the two of them wale ndoko kuside kule road bafumine ku meeting na HH. They looked like they were lone rangers lost in a cause because they couldn't agree. Twalibe puishe shikulu usha ku meeting yokumwachia fyachibashani baisalo ndolola bene uyu muntu tete tuombe na nkwebani ama reasons 1 2 3 4 5 mwika ibepa yo abalefo kubomba na HH bafuile batampa from a position of zero. He's been a president of that party for almost 14-15 years. I salute him. But that doesn't mean he's better than some of us in thinking. No. That doesn't mean he has better plans than some of us. No. The only thing ningasari utako in HH is alikuwa tolu piyo kunchila. I don't know how he made his money, but alikuwa tolu piyo kunchila. Ichona sariuta. Nazala no kuzala. But money is not leadership. Just like status is not leadership. Leadership is about character. Leadership is about vision. Leadership is about the ability you have to serve the nation. I have a vision for this country, and I want to serve this country. I may not have the money, but nalikuwa tamano. Lesa dimpe la vision. Nishnala iposa mkano kankala. Apope na munjeleleko.
Your concluding remarks?
Zambians, therefore, in me you have a friend. You have a friend who understands the history of this country. In me you understand that I want the common man on the street to know. Kuriumuntu kwete chiridishi. Icha basata. Ichiridishi. Ejo tuwa imishe PF. Kwebati. Ifwe tu piribule chino charo. Abantu abashirefo kumfwa. Be umfwa. Batila ama tui. Yale suka kuli wangu. Batinga baumfwa. Tafika la filafumu. Bari aba kwete ama tui na womfwe. Kairuto amulisa mfwe. Tatupula. Sala. Tatupwa yo. Abashirefo kumfwa wabo. I am giving myself up to leadership in this country. And I'm saying to all of you, let us not just say, tulefwa a leader for the sake of leader. Mule tuchita examine if we ngama leaders. Abalefo kutungulule chama. Fincha lela ndapo yumuntu. Afuma kui. Bushefi lela ndakuti achita. Ulupapulo kuti alukonka. The constitution. Is he going to keep his word? Some people kutuma mwena fio kutaliati hapa fika shupa. For me, Ninkwata Zambia must prosper 1 na Zambia must prosper 2. Hold me accountable to these 2 books. My vision for this country is embedded there. It is clear. My names are Kelvin Fubebwadi, and I am running for president.
Thank you so much. There you have it, and nothing much to say. Keep it right here. This is Hot, #1 for news and entertainment.
Don't forget to join our host, Zachariah Chabula, next week at the same time. Exclusive.
ZambiaMusicBlog.com.
Baba Mankole, Balala Beko Bafumine Mankole, Pantolena Gabamone Befintu, Palatenda Gabieza, Benaga Bamone Befisuma, Colabane Comafumine, Neva Mankole, Get to a change, Neva Mankole, Bamushani Nawali, Abo. Baipango kuwa hambo Pana mune poku waloyo Fake Iwe lolela fye Achilulianga wakwata Jesus Pala tampa nefisungu Atishilota who are you What is iwe Do you know me Do you know who I am Yes Twaliwe shiba Niwa mwakole Nangule na benga mwane Baka ele imisango tashalo baba mwankole balala beko bafumine bamwankole bantu benaga bamone kwefintu balachenja KBF benaga bamone kwefisuma kola baneko bafumine ne bamwankole yeti bachinje ne bamwankole bakapesa ndalama tabachero kuchinja vocabulary. You see, I don't talk to poor people in I. Who are you? Sha bakapesa kosa bino, bakapesa kosa bino, baibala kobazao, baibala kobazao, kuma bakapesa foto, kuma bakapesa mene batuma kofoni, iba mwankole wamona nangule na benga mone abakaele imisango tashalo baba mwankole balala beko bafumine bamwankole yan bantu benaga bamone kwefintu balachenja KBF benaga bamone kwefisuma kola baneko bafumine ne bamwankole yeti bachinje ne bamwankole so timuli supu we ulanda fefi sungunga wafola we mwankole ula chinja nentembanga na upate we mwankole so uibukita vyaba no venga ta upete we mwankole bakapeze kana ndalama bamakamba na vizungu atishilota who are you do you know me do you know who I am bantu benaga bamone kwefintu balachinja KBF benaga bamone kwefisuma kola baneko bafumine ne bamwankole nangulela benga mone bakaele imisango tashalo baba mwankole balala beko bafumine bamwankole zegeza ekumwesumane bashanjiru mwegesho mofasa Lukunet International Patrick Pativi Kelson Christopher Katongo